What up, people? Mr. Nolan's back. Going to be going over our budget again. This is our budgeting project. We are now on Unit 1, Scenario 2, ages 10 through 13. Okay, so the first scenario, remember we talked about how much money you could make at your parents' house in a month and so forth. You figured out how to do time and a half like at a real job. So let's go ahead and go into Scenario 2 now. You recently saw an ad that your favorite item is coming out at the end of the month. It costs $60 plus tax. Well, students, welcome to adulthood. You got to pay taxes. Here in Texas, we have something called a sales tax, which occurs in most stores, which means when you go buy something, you have to pay a tax on it. Now, the sales tax here in Texas is 8.25%. Well, now, students, in the hallways, I keep hearing students complain that I hate my mom, I hate my dad, they didn't give me this, they didn't give me that. Well, sweet Jesus, guys, you get to see what it's like to be an adult now. It is very expensive. We have responsibilities called bills to pay. So, for the students that keep complaining about their parents not getting them this and that, how about you try doing this budgeting project? You get to see how expensive it is to be an adult. It's very expensive. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and try this first problem. Now I'm going to reread it. You recently saw an ad that your favorite item is coming out at the end of the month. It costs $60 plus tax. Sales tax is 8.25%. How much is the item going to cost you, including tax? So the way you do it is you take how much it cost, which is the $60, and you multiply it by the 8.25%. So the first thing is you take that 8.25% and you turn it into a decimal. You're going to say, well, Mr. Nolan, there is a decimal in here. Well, I can see that, guys, but it's also a percent. How do you turn a percent into a decimal? Well, in this case, you take the decimal that we have here and you move it 2 times to the left. 1, 2. So it is 0.0825. There's your sales tax times the cost of the item. Well, of course, when you multiply by 0, it's just 0. Second row, add a 0. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 2, anybody? 6 times 2, that's 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. 6 times 8 is 48. Plus 1 is 49. Now, how many times do I have to move my decimal back? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So move your decimal back 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you get 4.95. So that means you're paying $4.95 on taxes for this item. But we're not done. The question says how much is the item going to cost, including the tax. So you take how much it costs, which is $60. And you add the $4.95 to it. So guys, this item that you want is going to cost $64.95. Well, now this week was not a good week as you got in trouble at school on Monday. So if you get in trouble, do you get paid? No. On Tuesday, you decided not to do your chores. Well, guess what? If you don't work, you don't get paid. On Thursday, you made an F on your science test. Again, you don't do good in school, you don't get paid. Wednesday and Friday were both good days at school and at home. Well, let's see. If you had 2 good days, and you go back to scenario 1, how much money do you make in a day? Well, if you refer back to scenario 1, you should make $6 in a day. So if you had 2 good days, you made $12. Well, guess what? You decide not to budget your money. You used your money that you made in the first week of the month on candy, sodas, and Takis. So, there's your $12 you made. Well, guess what? You spent it. Now you're broke again. You have no money. So now it says you have 3 weeks left to save. The second week was great. The second week was a great week in school, plus you did chores at home. You are now halfway to your goal, which means you worked 5 full days. You had a great week, so you made $30 that week. So how much money did you make this week? You made $30. Now, we know life happens. Things in life happen. For example, students, what happens if you were horsing around and you broke your arm and you have to go to the emergency room? Well, guess what? That changes your parents' budget because they have the responsibility of paying for your medical bill. So let's look at this now. The third week was really good at school and at home, except that you broke a lamp in the living room and you were forced to replace it. The lamp cost 2/3 of this week's allowance. Well, let's see. So how much did the lamp cost? Well, if you had a good week, you would have made $30. And we're going to multiply that by the cost, or we're going to multiply that by 2/3 of this week's allowance. Well, if you notice, I have a whole number times a fraction. So what you're going to do is turn this whole number into a fraction. How do you turn a whole number into a fraction? You put it over 1. From here, multiply straight across. So 30 times 2, which is 60. 1 times 3 is 3. 60 divided by 3 is $20. So this lamp cost you $20. You're like, wow, that's expensive. Well, hey, again, life happens. Going to the emergency room is expensive. Ask your parents. Now, how much money did you make this week after replacing the lamp? Well, if you had a good week and made $30, but you had to use 20 of it to pay for the lamp, you gained $10. Now it says, how much money do you have saved up? Well, last week you made $30. This week you made $10. So right now you have $40 saved up. Now it says, if something happens next week, will you have enough money to buy your favorite item that comes out Friday? Well, guys, more than likely you won't. Look how much the lamp costs. It costs you 2/3 of your allowance. You still need $25. Why am I saying $25? Because that's the cost of the item you want, including tax. So, if something happens next week, will you have enough money? No. Let's see, there is still stuff on the back side. So let's flip to the back. Now it says you had a long, hard thought and decided to do extra chores Saturday and Sunday to ensure that you had enough money for your favorite item. So after your great third week, replacing the lamp and working extra on Saturday and Sunday, how much money did you end up earning in the third week? Well, this is now time and a half. So how much do you make in a day? Going back to scenario 1, you make $6 in a day. So if you want time and a half, you take the $6 and you have to add half of it. So that's now $9. Okay? But that's for Saturday. So that's extra work on Saturday. Well, guess what? You did extra work on Sunday as well. So you have to do the $6 plus 3, so you made an extra $9 on Sunday as well. So let's see. This is a lot of work here. So after your third week, you replace the lamp, right? So after replacing the lamp, you had $10. You also had $9 now from Saturday. You also have $9 from Sunday. But remember, you also had a great second week. The second week you made the $30. So how much money do you have saved up? Well, 30 plus 10 is 40. 40 plus 9 is 49. 49 plus 9 is $58. That is how much you have saved up after working on the weekends. Now, if you have a great week at school the fourth week and only do chores Monday through Thursday, how much money would you make the fourth week? So that means you work for 4 days at $6 a day. So 6 times 4 is 24. So you made $24 this week. The question says, how much money do you have saved up now? Well, you take the $58 and you add the $24 to it. When you add those two up, you should get $82. Do you have enough money now to buy your favorite item? Well, yes, you do. Now, if the answer is yes to your previous question, which it was, then go to the store and buy the item. How much change would you get back? That's actually not a good question. I should say, how much money do you have left over? Now notice how I scratched this out. This is the first time I've actually given this budget project, so I'm making some changes on the fly to make it better for the future. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the $82. We're going to subtract how much the video game costs, or whatever item you bought. Ooh. Well, guys, after you buy your video game, you still have $17.05 left over. So, I really hope y'all are starting to get a grasp of this budgeting, saving your money. Again, I'm tired of hearing kids in the halls just telling their friends how much they hate their parents for not getting them this and that. That's very rude and selfish, especially towards your parents. Your parents work extremely hard to put food on the table, clothes on your body, shelter over your head. I mean, for some of you guys got a cell phone. I mean, they don't have to do all this extra stuff for you guys. They give you the necessities to survive on. Food, shelter, clothing. You should always be grateful no matter what you get. Alright, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be making another video here shortly. Alright, bye.